Hello and welcome to this video in which I'm talking all about self-care. I know it's boring. You hear it all the time. Why is it even important? Why is it important to look after yourself? Do you know, as a parent myself and as someone who works with parents and carers and professionals all the time, so often when I start talking about self-care, about looking after ourselves, I get eye rolls. I get, oh God, yeah, we've heard this all before. But you know, it's a really important part of parenting, of looking after children. And it's a fundamental part of the connective parenting MVR approach, because if we're not looking after ourselves, we don't have the energy to emotionally and physically connect with ourselves, let alone with our children in the way we want to. And not only does that have a negative impact on our relationship, but actually, what's it showing them? What's it showing our children when we're like, oh, I'm too tired, or I'm too busy with work, or I don't feel very well, or no, I've got too much other things to do, I haven't got the time. You know, all of those things have a negative impact. And if we are struggling with our child's behavior, if we are finding them challenging because of their needs, then self-care becomes even more important, because so many children, particularly those with attachment needs, with trauma, with who are neurodiverse, you know, they need more of us than maybe a neurotypical child does. And that's even more draining, because not only does our child need more of us, but so often we are battling to get the support they need, the schooling they need, that, you know, just everyday life. And so looking after ourselves becomes even more important. But it's not about spa weekends and, I don't know, lovely holidays by ourselves. Yes, obviously, that's amazing. Who would say no to a spa weekend? But let's be realistic. I, for one, don't get away very often from things like that. In fact, I can't remember the last time I had a spa weekend, certainly from before my son moved in. But it is about doing those little things every day that help you move forward, that help you top up your tank. And for those of you sitting there thinking, Sarah, I haven't got any time, I just haven't got any time for self-care, I get it. I'm a single mum to a teenager, running a busy business, trying to keep the house done and all of that stuff. I get it. And this is where we have to think of self-care differently. Yes, if you've got time to go out for a run and you enjoy it, or go to the gym, or go out, I don't know, every weekend with your mates, fantastic, go for it, do it if it's topping up your tank. If you're sitting there going, not a hope, Sarah, I understand that, then don't. Find other ways of doing it, because, you know, self-care isn't a one size fits all. Actually, there's not many things that are, really, are there? But self-care is not a one size fits all approach. So I get it. You know, when my son was younger, not long after he'd moved in, you know, getting out was just not going to happen. Finding time by myself was really hard. And then by the time I was managing everything else and trying to keep on top of it, sometimes wasn't even on my own list. You know, the list was so long, I didn't have time to look after me. But actually what I realized is that looking after me was crucial. And, you know, sometimes it's just a minute or two a day, doing some deep breathing, doing some box breathing, just sitting and breathing, making sure you're doing something, having a boogie around the kitchen to your favorite music, even if it's while you're cooking dinner. You'll often find me boogieing around my kitchen, but those kind of things, you know, that's all topping up your tank. And I know it's really easy to go, oh, it's not going to make any difference. Or I did some self-care and then it all kicked off and I was back to where I started. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I get it. The thing is to keep doing it every single day so that our tank is never really empty. And I'm going to use a bit of analogy right now. If you are in England, certainly in the south of England, it's October 2021 when I'm recording this, you will be well aware there's a lack of petrol around the place. Now, if you're one of these people that only ever fills the tank up when they go onto the red light, you're probably panicking a little bit right now. You might have found the last 2 weeks really stressful because you've got to try and find petrol, and that's really hard. And because it's running on empty, it's even more harder to find it. You get more stressed, all of that stuff. It's much bigger stressor. If you're one of those people that, I don't know, keeps their tank kind of never goes below quarter full, you've got more breathing space. You've got more, oh, it's going to be all right. I've got a bit more time to sort this out. And that, I think, is the difference. If we're one of those people that's always running on empty, everything is going to stress us much more. Everything is going to create bigger issues. Everything's going to feel much bigger to sort out. And those things that maybe you're struggling with or think, I don't know where to start with that, they get left to one side until they get bigger and bigger and bigger and become more and more of a stressor in our mind, and it gets harder. If you are one of those people that never goes below quarter of a tank, you've got a bit more breathing space. And one of the things that I have learned personally is how important it is to never let my tank go empty, because I've been there, I've done it, and it takes an awful lot more to fill it up. So self-care isn't just something you do when you feel like it. Try and do it a little bit every single day. Even if it is, I don't know, listening to a meditation when you go to sleep. It's surprising how relaxing that is, even if you never hear the end of it. Or just doing some deep breaths, or thinking of a couple of things you're grateful for each day when you go to bed. You know, those small things, and I know they might sound really ridiculous, but they can help, and they can get you on the journey to starting to feel better, to give you the energy to do more. Drinking enough water is another one. You know, just keeping yourself hydrated. You won't be so tired, you won't be so grumpy. All of those things make a big difference. And when we're looking after ourselves, it's much easier for us to stay calm in the moment, for us to respond to our child rather than, you know, react, for us to stay connected, for us to spend time with them and be able to engage with them because we've got enough energy to do it, and to see how they're feeling and proactively support them and manage those things. So if that is you, if you are thinking they're going, why self-care? Really, Sarah? Please do something. Stop this video now. Take a few deep breaths. Take a few deep breaths while you're listening to the end. Self-care isn't something that can be forgotten. If you are not even on your list, get yourself on the list at least as a starting point, so you've got that constant reminder. And I promise you, everything else becomes just a smidgen easier when you are looking after yourself. So that is all for this video. I'm not going to talk about self-care anymore. I'm not going to nag you to do it, but you need to do it. So find what works for you and then do it, and try and be as consistent as you can. But if it's stressing you out fitting self-care in, it's probably the wrong sort of self-care. And remember, that glass of water you have is self-care. That ringing the dentist to book that appointment you meant to do 6 months ago, that is self-care. Getting a cleaner, that is self-care. All of those things help you connect with your child. So they all count as self-care in my book. So do what works for you. Do it consistently, and know that you deserve to look after yourself. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.